Just talk about a chilly Wednesday across Central Oregon. Hey everyone, I'm Darrell Winninger, Chief Meteorologist at Central Oregon Daily News. And today, through our Tri-County area, we've seen a whole lot of this cloud cover. Not much in the way of sprinkles or flurries, not even much in the way of stronger winds. And this cloud cover has kept us pretty chilly through the Tri-County area. Now, we're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Look at what's been happening today, what changes you can expect, and how those changes are going to impact our weather pattern and maybe even our roads through the next several days. Satellite and radar does not show much. This is a blend of visible and infrared satellite imagery, and it really just shows that there's just a whole lot of cloud cover over the high desert. But notice at the end of this loop, there is cloud cover. When we look at just infrared satellite imagery, which focuses on the temperature of the top of the clouds, a lot of what's over Central Oregon is low level. If it were upper level or really tall clouds, what we would see is a lot of those brighter colors, the oranges, the reds, and we're just not catching that much on the infrared satellite imagery with this enhancement. So that's indicative of low level cloud cover that is mostly dry. Now, some of this could descend to become fog later tonight. Other parts of the high desert, some clearing is expected, and ultimately we're not looking at much in the way of precipitation until we get to Thursday. Tomorrow, that's going to be our next chance of rain. Switching gears just a little bit, not quite a hard pivot, but just moving over a little bit, we're going to go to water vapor satellite imagery and pressure. And we were already showing pressure on the other graphic, but water vapor really helps paint a picture of where there's lower and mid-level moisture through the atmosphere, way over our heads. And there's a lot of moisture over Central Oregon, but even more when you back it out all the way over to the Pacific Ocean. That's what those blues, those whites are showing up on the map. Now, what this means for us is we're actually seeing the stage being set for an atmospheric river. We have a broad ridge of high pressure off the California coastline, and this high is flattening. That means it's weakening. So instead of amplifying and ridging up into the Gulf of Alaska, what we're actually seeing is this is flattening. It's getting smaller, and that means it's breaking apart. That's going to open the door for an unsettled weather pattern. That unsettled weather pattern brings us more rain, just not much in the way of snow, not even in the highest elevations. Now, when it comes to pressure, those white lines all across the map are isobars, constant lines of pressure or equal lines of pressure. And when they start to get really tight, we call that a steep gradient, and that means stronger winds. For us over the high desert, it's just a light breeze, but on the other side of this high and on the northern fringe of it, we do have stronger winds. That could come into play a little bit through the next couple of days, but the bigger changes are coming with a series of fronts. So those fronts start to impact us through the day tomorrow on Thursday. So for tonight, some in and out clouds are going to be expected. Then Thursday, more cover. Watch what happens during the late morning and midday hours. Some scattered light showers. Notice all of it is rain, except for a little bit of wintry mix in the highest elevations. This continues with periods of clearing and more waves of moisture. By Friday, another system rolls in. So the low pressure and cold front from the same system that's bringing us a warmth front on Thursday, all of that pushes through on Friday. By Saturday, another system rolls through the high desert. So ultimately, we are looking at several big changes here through just our Tri-County area. And as of right now, we already have some moderate to high relative humidity values. When this number is measured in percentage, when this number gets up to 90, and especially 95, closer to 100, that's where we have some fog developing. And it's not happening right now, but it is something we're going to be continuing to track later on through the overnight hours. Meanwhile, today, look at this. You're going to love this. It has just been chilly. Well, some people are going to love it. Those of us who really enjoy breaking out the flannel shirts and maybe even a vest over it. Today, temperatures topped out in the 30s and 40s through Central Oregon. This is in the last 24 hours. Actual temperatures just before 5 o'clock, mostly in the 30s, near freezing in Sisters and in Lapine, and temperatures are running between 2 and 9 degrees cooler than it was just 24 hours ago. That's already a big dip in temperatures, so we did not see much warming at all, and temperatures were well below the actual forecast from yesterday, and that's because this cloud cover stayed persistent. We didn't get much in the way of clearing, therefore temperatures did not go very far. Now through the day tomorrow, we are looking at temperatures bumping back into the 40s, and that's as we sit in the warm sector of this next system. So remember I said during the late morning and midday hours, the tail end of a warm front works its way through the high desert. That's what brings us some of those sprinkles. Now, highs mostly in the 40s, and then through the day Friday, 50s with some 40s. Now, the remnants of that system stay with us through Friday. By Saturday, the showers work their way a little bit out of our Tri-County area. We're looking at some periods of clearing and another dip in temperatures. That's going to be a modest break between systems, but between now through the day tomorrow, our school bus forecast shows that we're staying near average for this time of the year, just picking those temperatures up a little bit. So lows will be in the 20s, highs are going to be in the 40s with some showers indeed forecast for the high desert. Now, a quick look at that temperature trend shows that we're bumping back into the 50s Friday, back into the 40s again for further down on Saturday, and then by Sunday and Monday, lower to mid 50s are expected. So truly, roller coaster temperatures for the high desert. Now, let's look at your traditional forecast model. This is the one I typically show every night on air. And we have two different high pressures, one out over the Pacific, one that was expanding out from the Four Corners region into the Pacific Northwest. That second one, that's what's bringing us a little bit of that warmer air, and there is some moisture actually coming into the high desert as well with this next system. And so what happens is through tonight, we have some pockets of fog. By tomorrow, scattered showers. Warm air from not only the Four Corners region, but our warm front continues to impact us through the day. Thursday, scattered light showers. By Friday, more rain. By Saturday, even more rain. Notice each one of these pauses. We're not seeing much in the way of snow until the Cascades, until we get to Friday night going into Saturday. That's when we could get a little wintry mix, maybe some light snow showers in the highest elevations. And by Sunday, more rain is back in the planner. By Monday, more rain across the high desert. Notice the pattern. We're not looking at the big system that's going to bring a huge drop in snow levels, at least not through the next 7 days. Now, after the 7-day planner, we opened the door up for some of the long-range forecast models are actually showing a next big winter maker working its way into the high desert, but that's just so far out. It's not worth it to even show it to you. But there is going to be a chance for a colder air mass with more precipitation, bringing those snow levels down. It just doesn't happen until after day 8. So after this time next week, which means late next week, we could see that next system. But between now and Sunday at noon, we're looking at maybe some light totals. Going past that, we're starting to see those bright colors through and on the other side of the Cascades. That is indicative of an atmospheric river just dumping a lot of moisture. Unfortunately, not enough to actually get some snow in the mountains. We have a light breeze at the moment, and it's going to stay a light breeze. It could get a little breezy at times through the day Thursday. By Friday, it will get breezy, and that's because of this next cold front rolling into the high desert. So for tonight, 20s with a few 30s across central Oregon, periods of clearing, areas of fog possible, just not for everybody. By Thursday, some of that in and out cloud cover continues. More showers are expected. Temperatures top out in the 40s. This is still a little closer to average for this time of the year, and ultimately we are looking at those temperatures in the lower to mid 40s with some upper 40s out there. It's really not going to be until Friday that we have a bump in temperatures knocking us back into the 50s, but that's going to be a brief one, because then Saturday, after Friday's cold front, another dip in temperatures. Late Saturday, another cold front pushes through, but then another warm front rolls into the high desert. So we just have this back-to-back system that's expected. A very active weather pattern starting with Friday. Little break between systems later on this weekend, but then through the beginning of next week, more precipitation still, though. Not much in the way of snow. So as we go ahead and look at our headlines for this Wednesday, December the 3rd, it's going to be a cold night. Showers are expected through the day Thursday, then a modest bump in temperatures both Thursday and Friday. Some areas of freezing AM fog are going to be possible, or AM freezing fog, I should say, are going to be possible. Just the bigger change up is going to be our roller coaster temperatures and the chance of rain that's right down the pike. So as of right now, we do not have much at all in the way of precipitation, but we do have a whole lot of cloud cover. That's the latest in weather. Tune in tonight to Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below. I'll do my best to get back to them and answer them as quickly as possible. But that's it. It's almost 5 o'clock. It's showtime. Y'all have a good one.